Okay, we have come to theme 2 of your Form 5 biology. Theme 2 is on the ecosystem and the environmental sustainability. Okay, so in this theme, there are 3 chapters: biodiversity, ecosystem, and also environmental sustainability. So without further ado, let's look into chapter 8 on biodiversity, where there are 3 subtopics. First is on classification, system, and naming of organisms, biodiversity, the second subtopic, and then 8.3 is on microorganisms and viruses. Okay, so let's recall the term bio here. It's the Greek root word of which means life. Okay, bio means life, and diversity means variety. Okay, so this is a picture of tiger. Okay, some facts for you on the Panthera tigris jacksoni, saying that our country Malaysia is fortunate to have one of the world's only 6 existing tiger subspecies. Okay, so you can read on these. So let's look at the keywords here: biodiversity, prokaryote, eukaryote, binomial nomenclature system, dichotomous key, phylogenetic tree, microorganisms, and also pathogen. Okay, 8.1 is on classification system and also naming of organisms. So question is that why is it necessary? Kenapa perlu sistem untuk klasifikasi dan juga menamakan organisma-organisma ini? Okay, actually in Form 2, you have learned briefly about biodiversity. So let's recall dia punya definisi. Biodiversity is the variety of living organisms such as microorganisms, animals, plants, and they interact with one another. Okay, so look at these photos right here. You can see butterflies, different types of flowers. So how are these organisms be categorized and named? Okay, so let's look into a word, a term here that is taxonomy, which is very related in classification, identification, and naming of the organisms. Okay, that's a field in biology that involves these 3 characteristics. Okay, so taxonomy strives to manage the information and data which has been collected using a systematic and methodical approach to elucidate the scientific community. Okay, so it's actually essential for us to classify the organisms, and the classification is made based on the physical features in a taxonomy hierarchy system. Okay, and number 2, identification, and that is how organisms are being identified using dichotomous keys. Okay, not to worry about those terms. We will look into the terms as we proceed further in the chapter. Okay, and then naming. Organisms are named using this binomial nomenclature system. Okay, so why is classification and naming of organisms important? All organisms, they have to be scientifically classified. It is based on features in a systematic manner. Why is this important? It is actually to facilitate studies and also discussions among scientists at international level. Okay, this picture here, okay, is showing the scientist Carolus Linnaeus, which he is the father of taxonomy. Okay, he created the system to name, to classify the organisms, which until this day is still very essential and being made used. Okay, so let's look at the classifications of organisms. All organisms in the world can be categorized into 6 kingdoms. Okay, what are they? Archaebacteria, eubacteria, protist, okay, the fungi, plantae, and also animalia. Okay, and these organisms, they are classified based on the types of cells, genus cells, whether, okay, you can see here, prokaryote, eukaryote. Okay, so you can see 3 bullets right here for each of these organisms. So the first one is actually based on the types of cells, whether it is prokaryote or eukaryote. Okay, number 2, it is based on the number of cells, whether they are unicellular or they are multicellular. Okay, and then number 3, the classification is made based on the types of nutrition, whether they are autotroph or they are heterotroph or both. Okay, so let's look into the term analysis, prokaryote versus eukaryote. Okay, here's the meaning of prokaryote, which is a type of cell. Okay, remember just now we said the first one is based on the types of cell. So prokaryote is a type of cell which lacks. Okay, let me use my pen right here. Okay, lacks a membrane-bound nucleus and also membrane enclosed organelles. Okay, so those are the prokaryote. Okay, if this eukaryote has a nucleus and also membrane enclosed organelles. Okay, the second classification of the number of cells, whether it is uni, that means one cell, or multi, which means more than one, a lot. Okay, so single cell versus more than one cell versus multicellular. Okay, the third characteristics is based on the types of nutrition, whether it is heterotroph, here refers to nutrition. Cara pemakanan dia, if it is hetero ataupun auto. Okay, heterotrophs means these organisms cannot synthesize its own food, but then it will obtain food molecules by eating other organisms. Okay, unlike auto, from the terms auto, kalau automatic, we know that the plants can synthesize its own food from organic materials by using light energy or chemical energy. Okay, perhaps you already understand when we say by using light energy, that refers to photosynthesis.